Welcome to this presentation of the propulsion system of a legendary sports car. It is the Audi Sport Quattro S1, which was built in 1984 and 1985. It was a very sophisticated car with high performance and a very good acceleration due to a strong engine and all-wheel drive. On the model we see the complete drivetrain, starting with the 5-cylinder 4-stroke gasoline engine, developing a power output of 306 horsepower. At an engine speed of 6,700 RPM. The engine transmits the torque to the gearbox. Here it is a 5-speed gearbox, manually operated, and here we've got the gear shift lever. And behind the 5-speed gearbox there is a distributor gearbox which distributes the torque of the engine to the front wheels and by the red colored shaft to the rear wheels. The engine is, as mentioned, very powerful because of two reasons. One reason is the number of valves. Each cylinder has 2 inlet and 2 outlet valves. We can see it here. The valves are driven by the camshaft, and here we see the 5 pistons of the engine in the cylinder. The complete displacement of the engine is 2.1 liters. This means it is quite a small engine for such a high power output of 306 horsepower. The second reason for the high performance is the turbocharging. The turbocharging is a group. The turbocharger is placed here, and to create very cold air for the turbocharging and to press cold air into the cylinders, we've got in front of the engine the charge air cooler, and beside the engine here the normal engine coolant system. If we regard the crankshaft of the engine, where the power output is starting, we have the next component, which is called clutch. So a switchable clutch in order to interrupt the power transmission from the engine to the gearbox. This is the gearbox input shaft, the 5-speed gearbox, by a hollow shaft the torque is transmitted to this distribution gearbox, and the distribution gearbox transmits the torque to the front wheel drive and through the cardan shaft which we also can see here, the cardan shaft to the rear wheel drive. An interesting detail here is that the cardan shaft is divided into two parts. The reason is because long cardan shafts have a severe tendency to vibrate, and therefore the long cardan shaft is divided into two shorter sections with an intermediate bearing, and so the operation of the cardan shaft is much smoother and safer. On the drawing we also see here the rear wheel suspension and the front wheel suspension. Right now I think we have got an overview over the most important details of the Audi Sports Quattro, and I thank you very much for listening.